Prasad, you're audible.
Sir, I think this session was scheduled at 4 o'clock, right?
Yes.
And one link was updated in the calendar till yesterday.
Hmm.
Today, when I was trying to log in around 3:55, I found that there is no link, right?
Yeah, right. So,
So
I
so
mean,
so so,
see,
so I went
yeah.
to Discourse forum to write it down that the link has been removed. But
Yeah,
then
right.
I found a post over there which you have posted. From there I downloaded the calendar and then I added that. Then I can see that all the links have been added right now. So I think this is creating a confusion, sir.
So can we
Yeah,
start?
yeah.
Can we start? I'm really short of time. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Just give me- Yeah, so
24 people
actually,
are
Ganga
there. I think most
Prasad,
of the
there has
people are
been
struggling. Yeah, no
right,
problem.
right, right, right. So actually, there has been a change of, I mean, there has been an addition of calendar, and
Right.
that probably has changed the link. All right. So there has been a miscommunication of the actual link and what we are working with now. So don't worry. I mean, if there are
Hi.
other
Am I audible,
students who
sir?
are, yes, yes, you're audible. Yeah. So if there are other students who are not able to join this call for some reason, we'll reschedule it. I mean, we'll have this call, but we'll also have another call with a prior information of link and everything. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I just wanted to highlight this.
Yeah. So I understand that there is an issue, but I was not aware that the link has changed
And there,
altogether.
there is no
Okay.
communication
So
also,
let's go.
that's
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, probably that was because I was of the idea that only the calendar has been added separately so that it is, better accessible to you all. But
no,
this change
earlier
of
earlier
link
link
hasn't
has
been
been removed.
communicated.
Yes, earlier link has been
Yes,
removed.
sir, totally. Both for
Mm-hmm.
MAD1 and MAD2, sir, it has happened. Just today, the
Okay.
afternoon, till afternoon, it was available.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I was quoting in fact till yesterday. Yes.
Yeah, right, right. Okay, fine. Don't worry. We'll go with this, and let's see who else joins if they get this idea of link change in through discourse. If we see that the participation is not as we expected, we'll have another session probably tomorrow or Thursday, right? So we won't let anything miss. Okay,
So, but
Apul. Yeah, go ahead.
yes. So, just few things. I mean, Monday works. Either you keep it on Monday,
Hmm.
or you perhaps keep the session on Saturday and Sunday.
No, no. I mean, this is only for this week because if there are only few students
Okay.
joining, then
Okay.
this is probably the link issue,
Fine.
right?
So
So we will
next week again,
communicate
it
a
will happen
better.
on Monday only.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll
Okay.
have it most probably on Monday only and the same time, but with more better communicated link, right? So
Thanks.
that it is available to everybody.
Okay. So, sir, I'll jump to my questions.
Hmm.
Where I'm facing the challenges,
Hmm.
three, four things. As I said, I have covered this particular course in the last term. So, what I'm
Hmm.
doing is I am trying to watch your videos again and trying to do the project.
Right.
Okay. Now I am covering week 4 and 5 through your
Hmm.
videos in the previous term.
Hmm.
And where I am reached is SQL Alchemy.
Okay.
Okay. Now the problem is I am not able to use SQL Alchemy in the way that you had explained in the last term
Hmm.
with Replit. I'm just using Replit,
Okay.
but it is not working that way. The errors that are throwing is beyond my scope to understand what it is doing,
Hmm.
right? This is one aspect. Second is maybe you might want to just shed some light whether SQL Alchemy will make sense directly. Should I be creating the database separately or then working out? And third is I am facing a problem when I'm clicking a button. I'm trying to open a file in my project, but it is not opening. It says file not found.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so see, the to answer your first question regarding SQL Alchemy, what may have happened is, so you're working with Replit, right? So it is so when you import SQL Alchemy, it may be downloading the updated version of it. The last the sessions that I've taken in the last term, that update wasn't there. Okay, so currently we'll be working with an updated version of SQL Alchemy, and that probably has caused issues and errors. Okay, a simple workaround with that would be just change the sequence. Okay, so there is this app.config, and one more line is creating the instance, right? App SQL Alchemy app, right? So those things have to be interchanged. Okay,
Okay,
you
I
try
see.
with that. Because of the update, I'm not sure what is the actual change that has occurred, but we have seen that changing this sequence is actually working. So probably they have changed the way the object of SQL Alchemy has to be defined. Okay, you first config the database and then create app, something like that, but you try changing the sequence and then it should work. Okay.
Okay.
Another thing, okay, your next question about was
So, sir,
about.
this database thing, right? We will have to create the database which is very obvious thing to store the details of whoever is trying to log in or admin or something like that, right?
All right, yeah.
Uh, so, would this particular database files that I'm creating in Python should be kept in the main file, or should I perhaps have a different Python file where all this database aspect should be there?
No, that is your choice. See, if the code, see, if you are having the model part, the controller part, if you intend to use APIs, what happens generally, the code becomes cluttered and it becomes difficult to navigate through particular piece of controller. All right.
Hmm.
So in that context, what we do is we keep the code that involves all the models and all in a different file, APIs in the different file, and the actual code in the different file. Okay. The only problem, I won't call that a problem. The only thing that you need to consider is how do you link these three files, right? All the imports and stuff. Okay, but if
Yeah.
the things are there in a single file, you don't have to worry about those. And since you are, if you intend to keep the code very simple and systematic with all the comments added at right places, you don't even need to create these different modules. Okay, so it is completely dependent on you. If by
Okay.
any chance, if you are working on a model and then you see that the model itself goes up to 10 to 15 line, which is possible. Okay, because we are not sure of how many attributes and fields we want to add. Okay, so if that is happening and you see that your three or four models that you want to create are actually extending and unnecessarily lengthening your file, then you can
Hmm.
have it used differently or
Okay.
created differently.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, fine. Uh, Regarding the order of these statements, right? What I have done is first we are importing from
Right.
Flask SQL Alchemy import SQLite 3. Then, then
From Flask SQL Alchemy import SQLite 3. Okay.
right? Then app.config, and you had mentioned SQL Alchemy underscore database underscore URI
Hmm.
and equals to SQLite, then the file name dot SQLite 3.
Right.
Then
So, I
on this
mean,
side,
from Flask SQL Alchemy, actually, you have to import SQL Alchemy,
SQL
right?
Alchemy. Oh, yeah,
Right.
correct, right.
SQLite 3 is a database, and we are actually importing the object. And Flask
Actually,
SQL Alchemy is
yeah, you are
the
right.
library.
You
Hmm.
had told SQL Alchemy because I was not able to solve it. I was reading internet, and on Replit website, I came to know SQL Lite 3 should be there. So that's where I had written this particular thing, but was not very sure what to write.
No, see, I mean, see, if we are importing something, we should know what we are importing it for, right? So what happens is whenever you want to work with the ORM, that
Mhm.
you need to tell your ORM that whatever app that I'm creating has to
Yeah.
connect with this ORM. Okay,
Okay.
so that is called as instantiation. Okay,
Yeah.
and how do we do that? First, we create the app instance. How do we do that? App equals to Flask and all, right? Flask main.
Yes. So that has happened in main, correct, right?
So that your app is now created. What is that line trying to tell you? It is trying to tell you that the Python module you're working with should be considered as an app, the
So,
web
sir, how
app.
do we inform both these files, separate files, right,
हाँ,
to
yeah,
speak with each other? Because एक फाइल में ऐप है और दूसरे फाइल में मैं रेफरेंस दे रहा हूँ ऐप का.
Right.
but both the files are not connected.
Yes, I'll tell you how to do that. Give me a minute. Let me open VS Code and I'll share the screen. Yeah, I understand, students, that the link is not available. The link has by some reason changed, and therefore I've added in the latest one in the discourse. Sorry for the inconvenience, but if for some reason your peers are not able to join, we will have another session with the same content. Okay, so don't worry, you won't miss anything. So there is probably a lag in the communication we thought has happened, but is not later reached to students. Okay. Yeah. So I guess my screen is coming up now, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see? Yeah. All right. So the thing is, I am still taking the same VS Code REPL which I was working initially, but okay, let me create file. So let's say this is okay. Let me create one. So let's say this is your app.py. Okay, so one
Sir,
file
can
is
you
app.py
hide the names on
and
the side
another
and
file
just,
is
sir, can you hide the names on the side and just like only your
where
screen might be visible?
this thing. No, so
So
I'm
when,
sharing my screen. No,
no, when we are seeing, the names also come.
which names exactly?
These names, the participant names are coming.
Okay, wait. Okay, but see here I'm sharing my entire screen, so only VS Code should be visible, right?
Okay, no problem, sir. Fine. You can carry on.
Can you see only VS Code,
I can
or the
see,
names are still coming?
no, names are also there.
No, not
Why is
both.
it?
No, sir, only VS Code are showing.
It's only VS Code. Our
Okay,
screen names is indicated.
Sir, carry on. That's fine. No problem. I'll figure out maybe something at my end.
okay, fine.
Check.
All right. So by the way, can you see the file editor here? Right, my
Yes.
app.py is open. Okay, fine. So let's say your this is the only file you have. Okay, app.py. So how do we do this? We use from Flask import Flask, right? And then after this, okay, not the small letter, the capital letter Flask.
So can you do this in Replit, please, if you don't mind?
Sure. Okay, so this main.py is actually your app.py. Okay, so here we'll do
Yeah.
from Flask import Flask. Okay, so this is how you import Flask, and then you instantiate the Flask app. Okay, now you can, so if you are using SQL Alchemy here within this, so what you have to do is you have to import it like this from Flask SQL Alchemy import SQL Alchemy. Sorry. And then you have to, once the your app is instantiated, you have to tell the app that I will be using SQL Alchemy, right? So then you have to instantiate it. Okay, so how do we do that? DB equals to, write this SQL Alchemy and then pass on this app as an argument. All right. So this will happen. This will work if you are using a single module. Okay. Now, if you are using one more module for the models.py, let's say this is the models.py. Okay. So here, the things that are done here with respect to Flask, SQL Alchemy, and everything will happen here. Okay. This will happen here, and then from Flask SQL Alchemy, import SQL Alchemy, and then what is the next step? This is the next step, right? DB equals to SQL Alchemy app. So here, I mean, when I'm here, I don't have that app component. Okay, so how do we do that? Here we have to write DB equals to SQL Alchemy. Okay, that's it. So here there won't be any argument. Here there was this argument app. Okay, now everything has happened here. Now how will you use that here? How do you connect these two files? So you will be importing. Okay, you will be importing from model, because this is your module name, import star. Okay, this will import everything including the db object that we have created, and then what you will do, db dot create underscore app and add app here as an argument. You get this, Apple?
Yes, sir. I got it. Side by side, I was doing it also.
Okay.
Okay. So this line number 2, you said that this line number 2 needs to be in
No,
model.
this is not required.
This is, yeah, it's not required in main. Now it needs to be there in model, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And DB SQL, and then remaining the code should be there. Okay.
Okay, so here, since you did not have any argument, you did not give that app as an argument, and then main, you have that argument. So this is how you give that app, because now you have DB created. Now this is how you externally or explicitly pass argument to DB object.
So, sir, you also said DB is equal to SQL Alchemy app should be there, right? A line should be there.
Yeah, so that is because that is when you have single module. Okay, see, here DB
Okay.
was instantiated with SQL Alchemy, and argument was passed as an app, because app was defined with app equals to Flask, something like that, right? Here that app is not defined. Okay, and we don't want to play, go from one module to another, import this there and import that here. We don't want to do that. Okay, so we want everything to come in main, everything else created independently, and everything to be imported to main. Okay, so then from this is my model, right? This is my new module that I've created, whose name is model. So from there, I'll import everything, all the classes and objects that I've created here. Doing this will also import the created models. Okay, and also the object, DB object. So you have created it here. The only one thing that is remaining here is telling the app that you are using the app, that main.py module as app. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is done with this create app. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
if the module is same, you don't need to do this create app and everything, just pass the argument.
Okay. I see. Okay. Fine, sir. I have written what you have explained, but it gives me an error.
Okay, what is the error?
So it's instead of model, I had used the word database as my name of the file, and it's returning the error at line 3 from database import star. Trace back.
Is this done? So in database, you're writing these two lines are written in database.
Yes.
Okay, and what is the error exactly? Import error.
Import error, correct. Cannot import name SQL Alchemy from Flask underscore SQL Alchemy. I have
Okay.
written exactly the same thing. It's the SQL import error, right?
Okay, just try with changing the name database to something else.
Okay.
Because import errors generally come when you already have a module that is named with the same thing database.
Same, sir. Now it's saying name error. SQL Alchemy is not defined.
SQL Alchemy is not defined. Okay. Okay, so this is probably because of that update, I guess. I'm not sure at this point, Apul. Let me get back to you with this. Okay. Because SQL Alchemy, the update, when the update has happened, what needs to be changed, that I have to actually look once, because I'm not really, I haven't used the, SQL Alchemy extensively after it has been updated.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So you'll get
Uh,
back to discourse, or should I generate some lead for you to comment on that?
can you mail me your whatever you have written at this point?
Sure, sir. I will. Uh,
Okay.
if you can give me your email address.
Yes, I've shared my email.
Fine, sir.
Okay, just create. Share the submission that you have. The file that you have created till now. I'll
Yeah.
try to get back to you ASAP.
Okay. Fine. And sir, another thing, from main.py, I was trying to open. Once I click a button, an HTML file should open. That's not happening. It says the file cannot be found.
Yeah, that is probably happening because you are using Flask.
Okay.
Okay, so what you need to do, instead of giving uh, file name.html as an extension, just create an endpoint for the same and render it through that endpoint. Did you get what I said?
I did. So
Okay,
in
fine.
main.py, you are saying that whatever file I want to open, I merge it in app.route, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same. I did use the statement return render template and then the file. It's not happening.
Okay, and what does it say when you click on it? I mean, what does the console says?
The console says 404 error.
I mean, that is okay, but I mean, what is the endpoint that you are going to when you click on that? What is the SRC in the, or sorry, the href of that link anchor that you have created?
Sure. href. Just 1 minute, sir. So href is the name of the file.
Yeah, so you replace that with the endpoint.
What do you mean by endpoint?
Whatever you have written within app.route.
Okay. I see. Okay. Okay. I'll try.
Okay, so basically when you're clicking on the link, that endpoint has to be hit. Okay, not the file name.
Okay. In single quotes, I just write that endpoint as is.
Yeah. That's it.
Same thing. Okay. Fine, sir. I'll try to deactivate this Flask thing because that's causing a problem when I run it.
Okay.
Uh, you can continue with the session. I'll get back to you once I do those changes.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anusha, yes.
Yeah. So one thing, the wireframe is not available in the project.
So we are working on wireframe. It will be available by tomorrow evening at the latest.
Okay. So one more thing, I completed my MA1 course last semester.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm very new to this programming, so I had many challenges. So
All
I
right.
couldn't do the project last sem. So I'm trying to do this sem. So what would be your suggestion for me how to proceed? Like I have understood concepts till SQL Alchemy. The API concept is not very much clear to me. I have been
Hmm.
watching your recorded sessions, but until SQL Alchemy, doing the backend and querying everything, I have understood. So
Hmm.
if you could give me a insight on how to approach, how to attack the problems, it would be helpful for me, sir.
Hmm. Right. Okay, so see, there are two different ways of creating this project. Okay, so one is this would go good with the students who are new to the course, right? Because they are not very done with the content, so they have to follow the sequence in which the actual course goes, right? So
Yes,
currently we are at the front end part. We have just finished week 3, so we are only aware of Jinja and everything. Okay,
yes, sir.
but since you are done with the course, you have the content tools, I mean all the tools that are there. Okay, you
Yes,
have the backend idea, you have the SQL Alchemy thing ready. Okay, so you can start with creating basic app. Okay, I mean your starting point should be from the week 4 solve with instructor sessions, right? So you
okay,
create a simple Flask app and then add the database gradually, and then
okay,
go with the endpoints. Okay, later on, initially, and when you want to render a particular template, make sure that it has only the required things, and then you can build upon styling it later. Okay,
okay, okay,
initially when the students are new to the course, they don't have the idea of backend at that point, so we go with asking them to work with the front end part,
yes, sir.
right? But now since you have the what we call the idea to create the server and everything, serve files, render them
Yes,
accordingly, you can start with the basic server thing. Okay, I would suggest you to note all the endpoints that you want, because they make a lot of difference.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
for example, if you want to pass certain value to endpoint, or retrieve certain value from the endpoint, or give data to the server with the help of endpoint, you should know what part of that should be taken as a parameter, what part of that should go common. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you note all the endpoints at one place. Okay, because
Yes,
then
sir.
in that case it becomes very easy to connect all the pages. It becomes easy to redirect between the routes.
Yeah, actually it become difficult for me because I was not able to do the lab assignments last semester because I was not well, so I was not
Hmm.
able to do week 5, 6, 7. So I'm trying to do it now. I finished week 5 lab assignment. I understood it.
Right.
Week 6 also I have done it, but API it is not like properly clear to me. But
Hmm.
I think until week 7 would be enough, no, so for creating the project.
Yeah, right. Even week 6, if you're not very sure, don't go for it.
Okay.
Okay, do API thing only if you are very sure of creating APIs, you have time, then only go for it. Or probably, I guess, since you're doing only the project this term, you will have sufficient time to also work with APIs. And by the time you're done with your application, you
Yes, sir.
should be able to, you will be in a position to code APIs better.
Okay.
Okay,
And
let's not use APIs in your application. Just get the endpoints ready so that it can be documented and used by Insomnia or Postman.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also this, as you Apple was saying, the latest SQL Alchemy update has like lot of changes, sir. Even last
Yeah,
time when I was trying with
yeah,
screencast codes, it was
right.
giving lot of errors. So those things will be covered in the upcoming sessions, right, sir?
Yeah, right. So I mean, in the solve with instructor sessions will be having for this term
Hmm.
will be containing all the changes that happen, because we don't want to run into errors, and
Yes.
students will definitely download a newer version of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have to make our session change in the way SQL Alchemy has changed. Okay, and
Okay.
probably that was the issue I was facing now with Apul, because
Yes, sir.
I did code with the in the with the older code, and now I am not very sure of the changes that has happened. Okay, there was one change that I could possibly think of and that I've suggested already, but doesn't look like that it will, have the significant effect. So we will plan a session to make sure that the older codes don't come in front of you, so that you don't get confused.
Okay, sir. Also, like for MAD2, they have created a separate playlist for Jan 2023, sir, which has all the project discussions and the live session discussions. Is it something like that is created for MAD1, sir?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be having now regular sessions on Monday, this time 4 to 6.
Not
Okay.
just projects, sir, because as I have completed the course, I will not be able to access those regular sessions which you will be conducting, solve with instructors or other sessions. So
All
if
right.
it will be available on YouTube, it will be helpful because
They will be available, no? They are generally available.
some few things will not be available, sir. So if there is a separate playlist like Jan 2023, if it could be done, it will be helpful, sir.
Yeah, actually, we are maintaining a playlist. I mean, separate playlist with the name Mad One. The channel would remain same, but then the videos would change.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that will be available. Let me know
Okay,
if
sir.
it is not.
Okay, sir. I'll check
I'll
it.
share.
Sir, there is a playlist, sir, in the name of Jan 2023 batch.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
However, couple of videos are missing. Like you are saying that
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have conducted.
generally it takes time to upload.
No,
So,
time in the sense almost 2 or 3 weeks have passed. Those videos are missing.
okay,
I think someone has forgotten to upload that or what. I don't know.
okay, I'll check the playlist and let
Because
you
I
know
think you
what.
are saying that this is a third batch, sorry, third session of project, right?
Actually, last session was not conducted,
Yeah,
I guess, sir, because
that 4th
everyone
February
had.
session was not conducted, but sir is saying that before that also he has conducted a couple of sessions, right?
Yeah, first session was
But
conducted before the
but
sem
but,
start.
but the only first session recording is available. After that, there is no recording related to project.
Okay, fine, fine. I'll find the recording and share it with the team so that it gets updated to the playlist.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, trying to answer Rishabh's question in the chat. So Rishabh, you did not miss much because initially we were discussing about a part of project that was Apul's doubt, and that was a part of code. So you don't need to really worry about that. They are doing the project this term, so don't think you have missed much. Okay, now about the Google Calendar thing,
Sir,
we are
excuse me,
yes.
sir.
Hmm.
Sir, like in the lab graded assignment, if we have any doubt, I mean, if there is any error, can we
Hmm.
reach you personally through mail or something?
Yeah, I've shared my mail ID. No.
Sir, could you please share it once again, sir? I'll just copy it.
I'll share it once again. Yeah. So about the calendar, what has happened is we have added a new calendar for the project-based sessions, but I wasn't aware that the link even has changed. Okay, so that has led to removal of session that was already scheduled, and then a new session on the same time is added with a different link. Okay, to that I've added in the discourse, thinking of
It is still there in discourse only, sir. Whosoever is joining, they are joining through discourse only. They
through
are going.
discourses.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
fine. Okay, all right. Okay, so don't worry. I mean, I was thinking if there are a few participants in this session, they are probably not
Yes.
there because they could
Yes.
not, get the correct link to join. And we'll see that if the thread regarding that is created in the discourse that we were not able to join, the link was not there. We'll have another session similar to this one in this week itself. Okay, and then we'll
It will
regularize it
remain there, right?
to every Monday 4 to 6.
Yeah, sir. One doubt, sir. Hello. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, I'm
As
there.
we discussed that whatever project we are doing in MAD 1, we are going to continue with the same project in MAD 2, right? This part is clear. But say, for example, someone, okay, let me give my example. Say, for example, if I decide not to continue this project this time, right?
Hmm.
And if I am trying to catch up with the project which is going to come in the next term,
Right.
So it means I won't be able to take Mat 2 in next session, right?
You will be able to take, see, you will be have, I mean, it will be a slightly overhead, because what will happen, uh, generally we don't allow like that, and it is also not a core requisite. The Mad 1 project and Mad 2 project is not a core requisite,
Right.
but you can take the theory course along with that.
But that anyhow, my term will be shifted by one term. Sorry, my schedule will be shifted by one term, because then I will have
Hmm.
to continue with that project, and the same project I will have to do when the those batch will do Mat 2, right? But the
Hmm.
next term people will be doing their Mat 2, correct?
Yeah.
Because I'm facing
So see,
challenges,
let's
and
say
I'm
you,
also learning the concept for the first time, sir. So I'm finding it a bit challenging to cope up with the project part. I can see
yeah,
that
okay.
many people have started. So could you please suggest that how to initiate?
Yeah, so see, I mean, you are new to the course, right? You are taking it for the very first time.
Very first, I have seen that index.html file.
Okay, fine. All right. So in that case, I mean, as so this is the case absolutely, opposite to what Anusha's case was, right? She has already completed the course and now wants to focus on project and wanted to know how to go about it. Okay. Now that you are doing the theory course along with this, you are at this point, at this very moment, now acquainted with things that are used in front end, right?
Right.
HTML,
Yes,
CSS,
yes,
and all.
right.
Okay, so for the project, I mean, you wait couple of days, we will be sharing a wireframe. Okay, so that
Okay.
wireframe will be a directive on how your project should look like. Okay, what things should be there and all. This is like a, what we call a rough diagram of the front end of your application. Okay, so
Some
that
sort
will
of
be
approach
page
kind
one.
of thing. Some sort of approach kind of thing, like how we have
Yeah,
to
rough
approach.
diagram meaning not the flow charts and all, the actual diagram of the screen, but I mean how your application should look like, but in a rough manner. That is what we call as wireframe. Okay, so that will give you an idea of what components need to be there on the screen, and what will come up if I click on this. What should be the next screen, right? Okay, so that will allow you to create a certain front end part. Okay, the templates thing. Okay, and once you are done with the templates thing, the front end, the look of your application, when we introduce server to it with the help of Flask, you should be able to populate the actual data onto the screens. Okay, so how to go about it? If you ask me, you should actually work with the look and feel of your application. You don't need to go to a lot of detail, use a lot of CSS and all. Just a basic structure on how things would appear on your screen, slide proper positioning and all. Okay, so with that you will be done with the front end, and we are not really looking into a lot of designs and aesthetics, so you can stop it there. Okay, once you are ready with the database and the server part, you can start populating those templates with the right data. You can club all these three things and work on it together, and later on, so as I understand, or as I've seen through the past experiences, the technologies that you would require to successfully complete the project ends up till week 6. Okay, then there is things like login and security that you add to the application, which is external, and you can look on how to go about it. Okay, but if the content of project, that is what is required to complete the project successfully, is getting done by week 5 or week 6, you get another 3 to 4 additional weeks to work on the development of your project, right? So you don't need to wait for the new content to come, understand it, work on it, and then go ahead.
Just a follow-up question to this, sir. Whether those screencast videos are related for project work,
Yeah, they give you some understanding
because
of the
because
code,
the
right? So
first
they are, I
disconnect
mean,
happens
definitely
because
they'll.
everything is in Ubuntu, right? So there it comes
Hmm.
the first disconnect itself. Like
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I understand, and I've addressed those problems quite a few times. So what my idea is, initially when we work with Ubuntu, I mean, Sir generally talks about creating files and the folder structure and the directory setting up and everything, right? But once the files are created, everything then remains HTML, CSS, and nothing but Python. Okay, so you refer to only that part of the video, right? It is not an absolute necessity that you have to watch
Sir,
video end
might
to
be
end.
a trivial question to ask, but any thought process
Hmm.
behind that, like why all of a sudden, because the course has been recently designed, right? And most of the people are having Windows and also, why did we go for Ubuntu, sir? Might be a very
That
trivial,
is,
might be a very trivial question to ask, but
I don't have answer to that question. See, it is a choice of sir and how
Okay,
to
no
create a
problem.
system. Okay, but
Coming back to
this
my
choice
problem
is
again, sir. Coming back to my
right.
core problem, sir. So just correct me whether I have got the message correctly or not. So I'm drawing two conclusion. Whatever we have discussed till now, you are saying that up to week 6, I have to concentrate to complete the project part.
Yeah.
Point number one. Point number two, you are saying that for the beginners like me, or for the everyone, you are not expecting too much, right? In CSS front, we have to
Hmm.
just build a skeleton and we have to follow the wirethread, whatever you will be uploading,
Yeah.
correct? And point
Follow
number,
meaning, let me just correct you there. Follow meaning, it will be a good point of reference, but you can add your own ideas. And for some, it might, some things that are there in the wireframe might be irrelevant. Okay, but we try to, stick to the question statement and
correct,
try to, with the help of that wireframe, try to give you the core features, how they
correct,
should look. Right. So you can stick to that for your reference, and any addition to that is highly appreciable.
correct. So, sir, a basic doubt is coming and it is quite obvious. So, say for example, I am totally new, so of course my project will not be, very high standard. So, of course, I will have to compromise on my grade part, right?
No, no, you don't have to do that. See, there are students who were new to the course and they have done absolutely, commendable job on creating their projects. Not because they were, very familiar with the concepts and all, and they just had to, do it with their knowledge. It is completely a part of how much dedication. I mean, not dedication, how much interest you take in the course and do the coding
No, I
part
was
right.
saying just if I try to
That
cover
is
the
the only
basic
thing
part
required.
only, as you are suggesting that no, not to get too much in CSS part and all. So I will have to
Yeah, so that's
compromise
what,
on that front.
even right. No, 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 you don't have to. See, the core functionalities are set in a way that even a student who has seen index.html for the very first time can create that application.
So, okay, sir.
Right. I mean, if you look at,
Yeah, yes, sir. Sorry, you were saying
you
something.
will
Sorry,
see a
sorry,
lot of
sorry. Yes.
things.
No,
Yeah,
no, sir.
I'm still
No.
saying, am I lagging somewhere? Yeah. So what I'm saying is the core concepts in the thing, the core features that you want to do in the project. With the core features themselves, you can create a very good application. Okay, and a very good application in our view is not the one that looks very beautiful, navigates very nicely, does not have any glitches. Okay, does not lag. That is not something we look at. We look at we consider a good application that has all the core features, because that is what we wanted you to learn from the course. Okay, if all those things are learned, you are good to go. Now beautifying the application is unlimited, and it is completely subjective, right? It is based on the student's perspective of thinking, right? How much deep, or how deep you think, will completely reflect on the look and feel that you're adding to your application. Okay, now about smoothness and everything, the way things are happening in the front end, animations and stuff, we have another course for that. No, so we'll focus on those things later. Okay, so you at this point focus on core features, and you will definitely be able to create a very good application, a rigid, stable application that does not crashes anywhere, that does not crashes with a particular link. It does not crashes when when you do something, when you, doesn't matter what path you follow with the URLs and all, it should not crash. That is a good application.
Got it, sir. So it is suggested to continue with the project or along with the course. Yes.
Yeah,
Got
definitely.
it.
Because see, what will happen when you definitely have your own reasons, right? So that is okay. For some reason you could not do the project along with the theory course, but what I feel is, when you learn something, the things are fresh. Okay, so it is better to, it becomes easier to apply them. But if you have a load of 3 to 4 courses along this one, then yeah, I understand that the time is not sufficient to manage everything, and you can postpone it. So it is completely based on your convenience, how you want to do it. You want to understand concept, you want to give it more time, and then look for project. The only thing that changes is the question statement, right? The only thing we need to look at is, how do I with the knowledge that I have attained in this course, in the theory course, how do I go forward with a completely new problem statement. That's all. Okay.
Got it, sir. Let me try, let me give a try along with the course. And thanks a lot
Yeah,
for
so I mean,
all the
you I
encouragement.
mean Right. So what I think is you decide whether you want to go with uh, uh, whether you want to do the project along with the course or you want to shift it to another term. You wait till 4 weeks and then probably you can decide.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hi Rishabh, tell me.
Yes, am I audible now? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So, sir, just to sorry for bringing this topic again. I asked in the last session about the deadlines of week 3 and week 4 assignments and lab.
Yeah,
If
week three
you,
and week four, I mean, I had asked the operations team to look at it. I haven't got any response, sorry, but I'll be confirming this on Discord. Okay,
okay,
if the
another thing. Yeah, go on, sir.
yeah, if the deadlines remain same, I'll specify that way. If the deadlines change, you will be notified through what we call announcement.
Okay, perfect. And another thing, I see they have also added a DBMS management system course, the OPPE learning
Hmm.
session, and the timing of 5 to 7.
Okay,
And the timing for this session is, I guess, 4 to 6, right?
so that is for which what day? Monday itself.
Yeah, Monday itself they have added database management
Mm-hmm.
system
No, that
5
is
to
okay. See, you get this 1 hour, no, 4 to 5. This sessions, project-based sessions, we won't be, taking a topic at hand and coding on it, right? This will
Mm-hmm.
be a clearly discussion. So till from the time I've started the session, what I've been doing is we are having a discussion with one-to-one with the doubts students are facing. That is all what we are going to have, because in this sessions it will be just like a guide on how you should go about your project on an individual basis. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
something we put on the discourse is is broadcasted and common to everyone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but if I even now if you come in this session and ask something that is confined to your doubts and problems that you're facing, I'll be able to suggest in your way, and that is the whole objective of this session. You don't need to wait from 4 till 6. Okay, you join at 4, ask your doubt at 4, get it cleared by 10 in 10-15 minutes, and you can leave. That is the
Mm-hmm.
whole idea, right?
Okay.
It's not unlike the other live sessions that we have for theory courses, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
have the solve with instructor one where I ask you to do along with me so that you understand things better. So the nature of both the sessions are different, although we call them as live sessions.
Okay, perfect. And so another thing in the CSS assignment, the lab
Hmm.
assignment, the div box model was given and another box model was given, and there was 5. I remember, like the measurements were 5 around the corners. So that exactly is the padding, or it's going to be the margins of the divs section.
Okay, so are you talking about any question in particular or
Yeah, the
session?
CSS lab assignment that was given.
Okay, CSS lab assignment. Okay, let me open that for you. So
Yeah.
there is something called a CSS box model, which now box model is a representative of every element individually in an HTML file. Okay, every element meaning every element will have its own content, right? Will have its own border, will have meaning whether or not it has its own border. We can set according to whether or not it has a border or not. If it has a border, it will be reflected in the box model. If it does not, it will be reflected in the box model. Okay, so just give me a minute, I'll show you. I'll open the lab assignment, CSS. Okay, my screen is
Yes, sir.
visible, right? You can see this. Okay, so this is the Mox model you're
Yes, sir.
talking
Yeah.
about, right? So what happens is, so here it represents a div tag box model. Okay, so what does a div tag box model mean? So doesn't have to be a div tag. It can be any div tag. I'm talking about general
Mhm.
box model, right? So every element we can be represented with its own box model. Okay, so the blue thing that comes here is the actual content, the textual content of the element. Okay, whatever we write within the within the angle brackets.
Okay.
The div and ending div, starting div and ending div, whatever is written within those is the actual content of the element, and that will be shown something like this, right? So you have this home.py. So this h1, right? So this is the h1 tag. Okay, this is the actual content.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is represent with the help of box. Okay, then there is border. Currently this hyphens meaning dash says that there is no border. Okay, and the difference or the space between the border and the actual content is actually called as padding, this green one. Okay,
Mhm.
and the space outside the border, which actually differentiates two different element, right? Because box model is specific for a single element, right? So if there is an element beside that or below that or anywhere near to that, the margin will define the space between the two elements. Okay, the margin of that element and margin of this element together will decide what is the space between the two elements. Okay, let me give you a quick visual. So if you see this home.html, okay, if I try to render this, so VS Code has this very good feature of rendering any HTML file. I just have to click on go live. So there is an extension. You can download extensions from here. There is an extension called as live server. Okay, so this is the live server. This live server will actually help you to render any HTML file there itself without having to create the server. Okay, so if I click on live server, it will render this file for me. You see this? Now, if I click on inspect, okay, now let me do one more thing. Let me add two more things, the border, padding and margin to this, and this should be more visible to you. Okay, so we are talking about h1, and in the head tag, I'll add a style tag. Okay, and what do I want to give? I'll select it with element because there's only one. Okay, so I'll give border using a shorthand property. It is 2 pixel. It's a solid and black. Okay, so this is the border, and let's give it a margin of let's say 10 pixel.
So is the pixel and the
Excuse me, sir.
percentage the same?
Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in the same CSS assignment, they didn't mention about the border that you given two pixels and solid and black. They have just given the that every div.
Yeah, they have not.
Value. Yeah. So okay.
Why am
So
I giving here?
yeah.
No, no, because I want to show box model. I'm not really bothered about border. So if you see here, it has got the border right? Anyway.
Yeah.
So if you see this, where is that? This one, problem statement. Sorry,
Hmm.
it is a problem statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Please.
here it says dash for a border, right? This means that there is no border.
Okay.
Okay, I'll show you. Just give me a
So how
minute.
much is the padding in that box
I'll
model?
show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. In this current box model, there is no
No
padding.
padding also. Okay.
Okay, but there is this margin of 20 pixel. How do you clearly see the difference between padding and margin is where this border comes into picture. Okay, if you have the border, it will be clearly visible. That's why I'm adding this border to this element.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my document, right? Now, if I select this document, particular element, how to do that? You see this arrow here. You click on that, and you click on that element. It will be reflecting all the style and everything that is applied to that particular element. Now you see this is the box model. Okay, this is the actual content which I have no control on. Okay, I can set the width, but initially I have not. So this will take all the space that is available with the screen.
Okay.
Okay, so it is 940 into 37 and actual content. If you can, and you can parallelly see, if I'm going to the content, it is actually highlighting it on the actual content. Okay, the blue color one. Okay, now if I see on padding, I see nothing is marked because there is no padding. Okay, how can I make sure that there is no padding? If you see this my m and the border, there is no space, absolutely no space, both are touching, right? So since both are touching, I can say that there is no padding. Okay, and it is very much evident in the box model also. I gave a 2 pixel border, so 2 pixel is coming everywhere, and this is the proof of that, right? And the margin, you can see the 10 pixel margin is coming outside the border. Okay, makes sense. Now if I give a padding of, let's say, 5 pixel, okay, so we gave the padding and saved it. You see that there is a space now appearing between the border and the M. Okay, and it will be reflected in the box model, right? So now there is this padding. Since there was no padding, the green color was not coming in the actual element. Now it is coming. Okay, and this margin, now if you see closely, apart from the highlighted orange color, there is again a space in the left and right. Okay, why is that space coming? Because that will be the space of parent element. Okay, so if I go into the HTML file and I click on body, okay, you see now that margin is highlighted instead of the original margin. Okay, the space that was white initially is now coming in my box model because I've clicked on body, so it will start showing the box model of body, not the actual div. Okay, so this 8 pixel and everything else is not there because everything else is somewhere taken by the div element. Okay, so div element by itself is doing that for me, so I don't need to individually again provide border and all for body also. Okay, so this is how box model is helpful because it is helping me to actually locate my elements on the HTML. Okay, now if I want to do this complete block to come in center, it will be first thing I want to do is reduce this width to something here. Okay, and that can be done and can be seen in box model. Okay, and then I can easily put this part in the center. Okay, so all these things are how box model help us in actually locating and positioning elements in the HTML.
Okay, so understood. So if you can go to the lab assignment of CSS, I just have another question. If you can scroll down to the table, there's a page for the tables.
This one?
No, scroll down again. Yeah, this one, the mark sheet one. So between the letter English and on the left hand side of the table border, there is a space, right? So it's actually, I think it's the width of the table that assign this space.
This part?
Yeah, this part.
No, so basically what you're trying to do. Okay, if you don't consider this to be an HTML, look at it as a Word file. What has happened?
So you have shifted all the letters to the right side.
Right, so it is right aligned.
Yes, sir. I
Right,
did
so
that
that is
right
what.
away. But
Yeah, that is what has happened.
but there was no space left. Like in the actual preview, the space is between that the English letter and the left side of the table. I did the right align, but the table was compressed. There was no space on the left hand side. When I changed the width of the table to 25%, it made that space.
Yeah, why? Because see what will happen initially, if it is by default, it is left aligned, right? So the table space, the column width will be equal to the largest text there is. Okay, and that is what was creating space on the right side. Now, if you shift the text on the right side, same thing will happen on the left. And the space between mathematics and the border is because now you are explicitly assigning width to the column.
So there's no requirement for this, right? The width in this assignment.
No, you can do this. You can do anything with this assignment because this is not graded, no?
Yeah, I mean it's not graded, but still I got like marks around 70, and I was like, wow, I think I
Okay.
lost marks over here. So
And that's okay. I mean, I'm not sure because see, we just open this assignment and we don't take it for evaluation. So no, if you are submitting it on the lab assignment in the same module, only your HTML may have got evaluated.
Yeah, HTML I got good marks,
No,
97.
Even this one, if you are submitting this, see, ultimately, CSS assignment is everything done on the HTML assignment,
Oh yeah. Like the
right? So
pages are the same.
only correct. So the only the HTML part of it may have got evaluated and given you marks. CSS was not at all evaluated,
Oh,
right? So that may have happened.
oh, okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in this one only, regarding the last block, the div element, um, displaying the
One minute.
yes, displaying the name and in the bottom, the footer section
Okay.
in
This one.
every page.
Hmm.
So, what I did for this one is I used that
Hmm.
position as absolute and bottom as zero. But to move it to the center, there is only
Hmm.
left and right are there. But I just mentioned the left as six. I mean, by trial and error, I got that one. But how do I mention
You
for the
have to make the
center? There is no
position
center
fixed
option.
for that, not absolute.
Okay, okay,
And then you can use the
okay. There are
text
some.
align in center, and then it will work.
Yeah. So this fixed
Okay,
now is the default position. Even if you don't give any position, it will be fixed.
okay.
I did
Okay.
width
So
as 100
initially,
and that worked for me too.
sorry.
I did width as 100%, and
Hmm.
that worked for me
Hmm.
too.
Yes, that's what. So I mean, multiple. There are that is this is the reason why your assignment is not graded. To do something, I mean, it will only appear similar, but the ways in which you are getting or coming to a particular style can be multiple. Right? There can be multiple different ways.
Okay.
Okay, so this it's not that there is one wrong way of doing it and one correct way of doing it. If you are getting it something where you want how it should look, if you're getting it that it is right. No, that is your way of doing it. Certain rules have to be followed for HTML, and that's why it is graded. Even though HTML is quite what we call uh, I mean, it does not throw much error, right? Even if you don't give the tags and all, it will still show you. But certain rule has to be followed, and that will help you later in proper coding, creating proper templates. That's why we grade that, and we don't do this in CSS. We do not emphasize more on understanding of CSS, not because it is not important, because there are multiple ways of doing a particular thing in CSS, and we don't want to force on you guys focusing on only see this is the way of doing it. So that is what not we want to do. Okay. Yeah, Farman.
Hi sir, good evening.
Yeah, good
So
evening, Farman.
basically, I am from CS background, so I do have knowledge of HTML, CSS, and I have done few projects in Django. Like I developed two full-fledged application in Django, so I have like
Right.
basic understanding of application. But one thing I am confused about or would like to more of your guidance on that is a cart logic part. Like for any e-commerce application or say for our book this book my show application ticket application we require in cart everywhere, right? Cart and checkout. So
Mm-hmm.
what's the logic we should go as per my research and tutorials? I found two ways. First one is we create model like database models, a way in which I create a order model for which I will set my ordered is equal to false until the order has been placed. So if ordered is equal to false, that means order has not been placed. So we will relate that all the items in that particular order are in the cart. We will fetch in the cart and until when the user place an order, we will mark it to order is equal to true, and then this will be converted to a order where the order products into the cart will be as the ordered item, right? Second way I got is using sessions. Like so, if we can store the we can have a session stored on the server for each customer, and we can like session is stored like a dictionary kind of thing, so we can store the product ID in the dictionary, or session basically, and from there we can fetch the product items and require detail, do the arithmetic operation like total price and all for the cart. So what method is preferred like for the uh, industrial level application like Amazon or eBay something? And what approach should I do? Like I'm a bit confused about the cart logic, how it goes.
Hmm. I mean, okay, in that case, I would still suggest you can have a basic model created.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why am I saying that? Because sessions are confined to a system. No?
Mm-hmm.
See, if you are logging in with a particular
Yes.
account
Yes.
profile, okay, my cart, if I logged in to let's say Flipkart
Yes.
from one system,
Yes.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then again I log in with another system,
Mm-hmm.
my cart remains intact.
Yes.
That will not be the case with sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Session
it
will
is
be
storing
global.
some session in the system in the form of in the browser, right? If the
Mm-hmm.
browser changes, the cart changes. That is not what you want.
Okay.
Model, on the other hand, is independent of system. It is at the located at the database.
Yes.
Okay. Even if you don't want to crowd your database with the models, just add some one or two attributes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's say a combination of attributes. One attribute can be whether it is bought or not, the way you are
Okay.
doing true and false.
Yes.
Apart from that, you also add the user ID to
Product.
that.
Okay. Product and
Okay, so
user ID.
yeah, not the product. So every list of product, all I mean, there is a list of product, right? There will be a model which will store all the product that is there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there you have two more attributes in the products table. One which with the user ID and one with the whether it is bought or not, purchased or not.
Okay.
Okay, so if the order is in the cart of somebody,
Mm-hmm.
the user ID of that user will be assigned to it,
Yes.
and the false will remain false unless it is bought.
Yes, sir.
Right. So user ID and true,
Mm-hmm.
this combination says that it has been put to one's cart and then bought from there.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you can go ahead with this approach.
Okay. And I think I have seen in some of the e-commerce application where like products added into the cart are disappeared once we like clear cache or cookies. So that means they are using session base, right?
Probably I haven't researched that much on that,
Okay.
so probably.
Mhm. Okay. And like this is what I
So
thought
that
of.
is the issue, right? So you already knew the problem, and I said that that could have been the problem
Yes, yes.
about the carting.
Okay. So like this is what I got to know. Like this is how we can implement it. So is there anything, any suggestion kind of thing like you expect from us to do cart in that logic, like for this application? I just
No,
checked
no,
it,
no,
book show. It is
no,
kind
no.
of cart, but they just implemented in other way.
No, no, we don't expect that, but if that something like that appears, it will definitely, open the eyes of examiner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are adding something, a good feature, you should know about that feature,
Yes.
right? Because then that will again, that will chain you because if you don't know what things you have implemented.
Okay. So, sir, this model thing approach is good so that we can take this approach to professional or industrial level applications as well. Suppose we are developing an e-commerce application, so we
Hmm.
can use this in there too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, right?
One
So
more.
you user ID will
Mm-hmm.
ensure that that product is assigned to a particular user, and then make sure that it is still in the cart or is bought or is removed. So you can have all those three combinations with all those three outputs with the combination of user ID and the true and false boolean.
Okay. Yeah. So I got this thing. One question I just checked or got to know from somewhere. Like there might be one problem. Like for example, there are few products that have been added to the cart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we are doing this model way. So if some customer like just added 3 products into the cart, so cart will display product name and the price based on the quantity, right? So what if the like seller or admin has changed price for particular product? In that scenario, original price has been changed, but
Mm-hmm.
in the cart, the price will be what price will be that of that time where the
Of that
user
time.
has added.
Right. But then the way we are doing it addresses that also, no? We are not creating a different model. We are adding attributes to products table. If the
Okay.
price of a product changes, where it will be changed in the database?
Yes.
In the products table, right? So
Yes.
same price have to be retrieved and thrown to the cart, no?
So that mean like suppose the user has already added 5 products into the cart, right?
Yes.
And there is some total and some calculation being displayed on the cart page, but
Hmm.
just then the price got changed.
Hmm.
So it will fetch from the server the new price, but it will do on the refresh because request has to be made to the server, then data will be retrieved. But
Right. Yeah.
suppose user is not refreshing, so
Hmm.
in that scenario we have to use ajax, right?
Yeah, something
Or
like
there
that.
is.
Because then, yeah, I mean, Flask has some limitations. We cannot think brings a lot of dynamicity,
Mhm,
right? So even if you have an application open in one browser and in the
mhm,
same system, if you go with the same link, it
mhm.
will not start from the beginning. It will start from the same stage where you have left it off.
Okay.
Okay, that is because it is not creating a different instance for every user.
Okay.
Flask is not parallelly serving multiple users. It is having only one instance of the application running,
Okay.
right? So that is certain limitations.
So,
Whereas
sir, is
in
Flask used in industrial applications?
to some extent, yes, it is. I mean, it depends on the use case. No,
Mm-hmm.
you if you want to really bring that functionality in an application that goes beyond the use of Flask, then you definitely have to change the framework.
Yeah.
But does that mean you will use a very advanced framework for even a very simple application like a to-do list,
No, no. Yeah.
right?
Got
So
it.
it depends on the use case.
Mm-hmm. Got it, sir.
Yeah, so even
One
that
more question.
tech stack is very important in creating application.
What, sir?
The tech stack, I mean, what technologies you
Okay.
will be using.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I have heard mostly about Django being used in the production level, but less about the Flask.
Hmm. Okay. It
One
probably, I
question I
mean,
do.
I haven't worked with Django much, so won't be able to, give you explicitly what is the pros and cons of each framework.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
yeah,
got it,
probably.
sir. That basically it depends on the use case. If we are doing some small case use case application, then we can go for Flask. But
No, it's
if
not like
something
it's
is.
not about small and big. You can create
Mhm.
a very complex application even with the Flask. It's about the limitations of it. If you want to achieve
Okay.
certain functionality that is not there, but it is giving you
Mhm.
a very good security or very simple transitions of endpoints, right?
Mhm.
Serving files very easily. Why not go with Flask, right?
Okay.
I'm not talking about Django being one level up of Flask. I'm talking about the use case and certain pros of Flask and cons of Flask. Right.
Mhm. Got it, sir.
Okay.
One more question I do have, sir.
Hmm.
Like, suppose we are using a slider on our website, like images, we do have images banners and they are sliding, right? Or
Hmm.
maybe anything. The full image I want to display full image on my screen
Hmm.
on user screen, right?
Hmm.
So we do have some like something called image size, that is width by height in pixels, right? It is
Okay.
like 800 pixels in width and 200 pixels in height. So
Hmm.
if I am designing a website on my like 15.6-inch display
Hmm.
laptop, right? So I will be adding my margin and padding accordingly to what I'm like looking into my PC, right? But
Hmm.
if someone is looking the same website on 14-inch or 16-inch laptop, then how this thing works? Like, will
See
the
the
padding and margin will
hmm.
be less or something like sometimes I think the image gets cropped over small screen laptops or something. So how it is related to pixel thing, or does it matter the screen size? Does the screen
Yeah,
size
I mean
matters?
both. To certain extent, browsers or the screens can adapt. The applications that we are creating can adapt to change in the size of screens.
Mhm.
That is called as form factor.
Okay.
Okay, so the form factor changes. How does my application respond to it? Okay, so I have also talked about this in one of the sessions where we call this as responsive design.
Mhm.
Okay, so responsive design meaning how well your application is able to handle the changes in screen sizes. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and then there is some limit to that. After a certain limit, it will start moving into scrolling thing.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll show you one more time. I mean, I've showed it in one of the previous sessions, probably in the live.
Yes, sir. I got it. For content, it will show scroll bar, but for image, either it will like crop the image if we are
No, no, it
displaying
will
some
never
image.
crop the image. It will go into scroll again. It will not crop the image. No,
No,
how
sir.
will where will? Huh?
I have seen like I design a banner for some website on my desktop. It's 16.1 in diagonal display, but
Hmm.
someone sent me that on 14-inch laptop, it's cropping the image.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Not sure why is that. Because see, generally the browsers now, initially
Mm-hmm.
their only task was things like developer tools and all, right? So a lot of things happen in browser by themselves.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they have this nature of responsive. Initially, we have to make our websites responsive by giving them
Mm-hmm.
certain page width. Okay, with this width you
Mm-hmm.
behave like this, with this width you behave like this. That was something we did explicitly. Now
Mm-hmm.
browsers they don't require this. They by themselves do this.
Okay.
Okay, so probably if I show you this document, the only thing that is rendering, no.
Yes.
So see, if this is the width of my element,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I close the developer tool, you see that it has adjusted by itself,
Yes, sir.
right? So the screen thing has changes. Even you can see here, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the way if the device change, you see how it is managing by itself.
Yes, sir.
So this is called a responsive design. Now let me go to this part, right? So after a limit, it will start scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you see that this is being cropped. So it is actually not cropped. It is scrollable.
Yes, scrollable.
Right, so these things happen. Now the browsers have become intelligent enough to handle these situations, and the screen sizes that we are using
Mm-hmm.
are very standardized now.
Yes.
So we don't see that much. I mean, see, screen size will vary from here till here. They won't go from here till here, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the thing. I mean, they can adjust certain changes which are sufficient for us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I mean, data should not get lost. If that was happening, then probably it was the I mean, old version of browsers that was being used, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. One
Right?
more thing, sir, like with regard to this screen responsiveness, like although the browsers are intelligent right these days, and they like by themselves like adjust the content size or whatever content
Hmm.
flow. Uh, but still, we in order to be perfect nowadays we use like CSS media queries or other ways for the
Hmm.
responsiveness, right? Like if
Hmm.
the screen size goes beyond
Right, right.
600
I get it,
pixels,
get it.
then we
Yeah.
consider that it's tablet, and if
Hmm.
goes 1280 pixel, then we consider it's a on
Hmm.
laptop.
Hmm.
Then we change the font size or something, or
Yeah,
padding is
understand,
according
understood.
to.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
So how do we calculate like what screen size, like my question is regarding to the like 14-inch laptop or 16-inch laptop I want to display. So
Hmm.
what is the how many pixels I have to consider, like how do I calculate this pixel thing, like on this
Hmm.
pixel my web page will look that like this thing, like
Hmm.
while I am developing an application, I can just from the developer tool I can set my custom pixels, like this is the my viewport from this view
Yeah.
to this view, and I can see like this is gonna be displayed to user like this. But how
Hmm.
do I calculate like what will be the pixel size on what kind of device?
No, there is no hard and fast rule to do that.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, the for example, if I want to show an application in three different devices, one in the laptop, okay,
Mm-hmm.
there is no, I mean, I can say that the changes between different laptop screen is insignificant.
Yes.
Okay, the change in 17-inch monitor, 19-inch monitor will not be that indicative. Okay, but
Yes, sir.
when I come to tab and then into the cell phone, the screens are
Mm-hmm.
changing drastically.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know that okay, my laptop is somewhere around 16 inches and my tab is around 12 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so based on that, you can decide what pixel,
Mm-hmm.
what should change, right? You don't need to now if a 12-inch tab
Mm-hmm.
pixel is let's say 600 and
Yes.
19-inch monitor pixels are 900.
Yes.
Okay, basically what you want to show, if if I'm showing the same app on tab, it should look something like this, and if I'm
Mm-hmm.
showing the same app on monitor, it should show something like this. So you can take
Yes.
any value between 600 and 900 to bring that
Mm-hmm.
transition.
Okay.
Right? Does it really matter if I select a 700 or 750 if I'm working on 600 in pixel screen? The
Mm-hmm. Got
changes
it,
will
sir.
have come already.
Yes.
Right, so that is you actually need to know the starting point and end point where this transition is supposed to happen between which,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Between
don't need to,
devices.
yeah. So you don't need to pinpoint where with what pixel I have to select.
Okay.
Okay. In case if you want to still do that, Bootstrap has a very good thing that it shows difference with.
Okay. 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 I will
Right,
check
I'll
it
show
out,
you.
sir.
Sir,
I'll show
isn't the
you
first
briefly.
isn't the first HTML code I remember there's a default code that says content with view report or something.
Hmm.
There is a tag. Isn't that
Yeah, yeah.
helpful to display in any device, it's a mobile phone or it's a laptop?
Yeah, yeah, it does. I mean, yeah, to some
It does up
extent
to
it
some
does.
extent, yeah. But
So
in
in the go
production level
to
application, we have to make so that user don't have to make any like difficulty in reading or viewing
huh,
the content.
right. So in the bootstrap, you see there is something called as breakpoints.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the breakpoints, and this gives you the dimension where something should be called as extra small up to the point
Mm-hmm.
extra large. Okay, and it
Okay.
varies from 576 pixel to 1400 pixel, which should take
Mm-hmm.
care of all the screens from SD to max full HD.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and 1400 pixel and larger. Why 1400 pixel and larger? This is something they have
Yes.
set up because there is one pixel range of 720 and the other one is 1080 and
Yes,
1920.
sir.
Right, so you need to know what screen you are changing from and to.
Mm-hmm.
Any number between them will work.
Okay. Okay. All right,
Right,
sir.
so you one go I mean once you go through these breakpoints and you will probably get what why are these breakpoints there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you see these are pretty much closer to what we generally see as standard sizes 720,
Yes, sir.
540,
Hmm.
360, 1080.
Hmm.
So you see these numbers are pretty closer to those.
Okay.
Why? Because they just wanted to know that okay, if this number is attained, the resolution
Mm-hmm.
has changed.
Hmm.
So that's what I have been trying to tell.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Also, sir, I believe instead of mentioning pixels, you could also mention percentages. So,
See, the percentage is with respect to the screen size. No, it is a relative.
yeah, yeah, I'm saying like his question was for different laptops. How can we customize the layout?
Hmm.
Like for that range, for example, 1600 to 1900, you can use percentages instead of pixels as well. It's just a
Probably you can try with that, but my understanding is that 60% of 720, sorry, 60% of a 720 into 1280 is different, and 60% of 1080 920 is different. Right, so percentage
Yes.
is relative,
Yes, sir.
pixel is absolute.
Percentage we can use for the textual basis, but when we are designing like columns or a table something. So if I'm displaying three columns in a row in desktop, on mobile devices it will come vertically on top of each other. So this is done by using pixels basically, like the screen size is changing. So
Yeah,
not
I
on
mean,
the
this is all a
HTML.
part of experimentation. You can go ahead
Yes.
and see how it appears, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So just a very basic question, very very basic. So I got that link for the ticket booking thing, the project.
Right.
But in my project, in my dashboard, in my current projects, I have nothing. There's nothing in that page. It's displaying literally blank. But I never enrolled in any Mad1 project. I think that's why. So also in the orientation, I heard the professor saying that you need to pass in the project to pass in the overall course. So
Yes.
are there like projects in this course, like except Mad1 project that we have to enroll in? So I'm a little confused about that. What are the
No, no,
projects?
no, no. It's not that. It's just that a project, Mad1 project course is different from Mad1, but by default, you get enrolled to the project course when you enroll for the theory course.
But then in my project, in the dashboard, it should show right my current
No,
project.
actually, I mean, there is a slight issue that is being faced by a lot of students that they are not able to redirect to even their portal. Okay, so I mean, can you just create a thread on this on for the operations team?
Yeah, 100%, sir. I'll do that.
Okay, I
So
mean, yeah.
so when I get enrolled in Mad1, I'm automatically in Mad1 project.
Yes, yes, that is what happens. But if something is not being shown on the dashboard, some registration issue or something, just post it to the support team, and they should be
Okay,
able
sir.
to
Thank you, sir.
guide you in a better way. All right, so I see that there are around 10 participants here, and I was hoping, expecting more, and that should be the case if they had all had the correct link. But I don't see, I don't think that the link was completely or correctly communicated to them. So we will be sharing a proper announcement that the for the calendar and everything, and it will also be updated on the portal, and then we can have regular sessions with everyone who's willing to ask doubts can join in the same time. Okay, we won't be sharing links on the 11th hour, like in like the way I've done today on Discourse, right? So that will not happen. We will be sharing a proper set time and set link which everyone can join. Okay, if there is any requirement of another session, just let me know. We can have another session in the same week on project discussion. I mean, so that who wanted to ask doubts in today's session could later ask, right? So just communicate this to your peers and let me know on Discourse.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I joined late. I just wanted to confirm, know what exactly will be covered in these sessions, like queries regarding our own projects, or
Yes.
like
Yeah, basically it will be queries regarding your own project, and you can join, ask your doubt, get things cleared, get some suggestions on that, and then probably if you want to join some other session or work with your continue with your project, you can drop off. So it doesn't require you to stick with the session completely till the time it goes on. It is completely your choice. If you want to stay, please stay. You're complete I mean,
So
totally
is there any
welcome.
bonus mark for
But
this session?
bonus mark is, I mean, not really. Bonus would be, I mean, the guidance that you get for the project. That's all.
Oh, good, good.
And no, I mean, physically marks. If we talk about marks, I don't think there is a bonus marks for this.
also, sir, would you suggest how would you suggest to start or begin with the project? I'm stuck at that point.
So, are you new to the course?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so at this point, we are now the week 4 has just released, right?
Yes, sir.
So probably we have some basic understanding of HTML, CSS, and these technologies, right? I don't expect you to know Flask and everything, the database and everything that you learn gradually, down the line. But if you are okay with some content of HTML and CSS, you can start creating the screens the front end of your application. Okay, that is how you should start. Just I mean, create the front end, create the starting login view, the dashboard, how one should see. Okay, the data can be filled later. You can just add dummy data, right? So in the solve with instructor sessions, we wanted something to. I mean, we wanted static files to get created, so we added dummy data, right? That data gives you understanding of how something will look. Okay, so you don't need to wait for the actual database connectivity and server connectivity to actually render files and show you how your application should look. Okay, you can create your own movies, no? You can create your own shows, what we can say, hard code them and see how they appear one below the other, right? So the best way to start would be, you can start with a small wireframe. We will be sharing one from our side, which you can take as a reference and start working with. It would come in 1 or 2 days, not more than that. Okay, so you can start with the front end, the HTML part, CSS part, and later on replace this static HTML files with the templates.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else you would like to ask? Apul, are you still there? Okay. Okay, anything else? Somebody else? Anything else you want to ask?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I'm stuck at the with the lab assignment 3.
Mm-hmm.
In the last session, you spoke about how to use the CSV model and the matplotlib, everything. That's I understood. But to do this project, we have to do
No,
only
that
in the
is not the
Replit.
requirement. No, you can go with VS Code also.
Okay, I mean,
What is the issue?
uh,
Are you facing any issue with Replit?
no, sir. But actually, what I didn't understood is, sir said that we have to keep our entire code in the app py,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever you open that Replit for the Python, you will get the main.py, right?
Yeah.
So, so that app py should be in the main py.
No,
Then,
it's not that. The thing
okay,
is, see, app.py is generally we intend you to have that nomenclature like app.py, because everything that we create is nothing but a web app, right?
yeah,
And when we work with Flask, the main module that we'll work with, the controller
mm,
thing, will be referred to as app.py. Okay, so that
okay,
is the reason. But the app now, what we say in Replit, the default file is main.py. What you can do is work there,
uh-huh,
completely write your code, get
okay,
main.py run, but
okay,
while uploading it, just rename that main.py to app.py.
okay, okay.
Right. So see what will happen in Replit also. When you will work, you will download both all the files and then submit it on the portal, right?
Hmm.
Downloading the complete REPL, I don't suggest, because it generally even downloads and zips everything that is not required also. Okay,
Okay,
and your REPL for some reason gets more than 10 MBs. Okay, you download everything file by file. When the files are short, right? So lab assignments, you will be working with hardly 5 files, not more than that.
okay,
Okay, so you can download all these files individually, save it somewhere in your system, and
okay,
rename the main.py to app.py.
okay.
Okay, change wherever you have used main in your system. If you have, change that main
Mhm.
to app, and then you can zip it and submit it. Right. The
Uh,
requirement of week 3 lab assignment is for you to only submit app.py, right? Zip it and submit.
yeah, app.py we have to zip and yeah.
That's all. So you don't need to do anything else.
Okay. Sir, suppose I mean, uh, can we use the Jupyter notebook also to do this work?
Yeah, sure. Any local online ID would do.
Okay.
Okay, the only thing is, I mean, Jupyter has this small blocks, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Coding on that is like when you code very small piece of code, that is okay. So you can see the result there itself.
Huh.
Okay, but in editor you get the whole thing and then you
Whole
run it as
thing.
a module.
Okay.
That is the only difference. If you're comfortable with Jupyter, go for it, no issues.
Okay, because with the REPL, I never downloaded the files and
No,
did the
REPL
things.
is not a necessity. Why do we say or why do we ask you to work with REPL so that you just get the hold of an online ID in the cases where you are not, when you had, when you are forced to work with a system that is not yours. So what will happen? You might have to install all the things and everything. So REPL, just open it and start working on it. It is an online ID. That's all. Nothing else.
Okay. Okay. Sir, and the same in the code, they have asked that we have to enter the input through command line arguments, right?
Mhm.
So if I use the Jupyter notebook, I mean, in the REPL, we entered that command line arguments with the shell, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that would again be an issue.
yeah. Okay.
So what will happen? You'll have to save your notebook first, IPYNB, okay, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
download the .py file, open it in Notepad, and probably run it through command prompt.
Okay.
So again, that is an issue. Why don't you work with? Why don't you go ahead with VS Code or Sublime Text?
Okay, sir. I'll try.
Yeah. So VS Code, I hope you know. So you saw the interface. I've been
Yeah,
working.
I saw the interface, sir.
Okay. In the later weeks when we go with week 4 and week 5, I'll be working on VS Code. I'll drop Replit.
Okay. 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 Sure. Sir, I just want to know, I mean, I just tell the program that is asked in the lab assignment 3 that if I did, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So, what we are doing in the lab assignment 3 is there is a CSV file. From there, we need to fetch the data, and from the command line arguments, we'll be giving, I mean, suppose if we give subject code, it has to fetch the details of the student, right?
Sorry, I missed the last sentence you spoke.
I mean, whenever we give the command line arguments,
Mm-hmm.
so it has to go through the database, I mean that CSV file, and it will display that one.
Yeah.
So that's the thing they are asked, right? Is it the
Hmm.
correct?
Yeah. So see, what will happen? There is some common data with course ID and
Yes,
some
course.
common data with student ID.
Student aid, yeah.
Okay. But the format that course ID follows and the format that student ID follows is same.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, the number might change. It can
Yeah.
be, I mean, your evaluation can be run against a totally different data.csv. That is also a possibility. I mean, but there is a pattern that is being followed for course ID and student ID.
Okay.
Okay, now what will happen when you pass on -s?
Yeah.
This means that you are telling the
Good.
code, I
Yeah.
want the data from student. So
Yeah.
what is expected from the code, or what is expected from you? The next input that you put
It's
should
a
be a
student.
student,
Yes.
right? Same
Yeah.
goes with the course ID.
Course ID also. Okay.
Right. So with the -s and student ID, correct student ID, it should fetch you certain data. With the -c and course ID, it should fetch you certain data. Okay.
Yeah.
And if there is
Mm.
a mismatch, it should say something went wrong. That
Okay.
is what we are trying to ask.
Okay, sir. I'll try to do it in VS Code, and if
Hmm.
I face any issues, I will let you know, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So about your lab assignments result, I hope you got the result, but the evaluation report will take some time, only because we have to manually evaluate. Manually meaning we have to run your submissions against 3, 4 different multiple codes, so that we come to a proper evaluated report for you all, so that you get the understanding of what went wrong. Okay. So it takes a few days, but you will get the detailed report for that.
Sure, sir.
Okay, so is that it? Anything else? Archit?
Yeah, regarding the same lab assignment, would it be possible to like see how many private tests have passed while submitting? Like in other subjects like PDSA and DBMS, we can submit and see how many private tests are passing, and based on that, we can get like an idea of what will be the result after post
Yeah,
submission.
so actually the thing is there is a difference between the evaluation that happened there. So there were test cases.
Right.
Okay, so you used to get the number of tests that got passed or failed. Here, this is an evaluation report. There, we were checking the input and output of the code. Okay, given the input, what will be the
Yeah.
output? We were not really bothered about what was written in the code, and that should not be the case, right? Because it is a programming assignment.
Correct.
But in lab assignments, since we are focusing on a particular problem statement, your code are actually evaluated through an evaluation script.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so it becomes difficult for us to actually give on, the private test cases. The public test cases are given so as to, you get the taste of what kind of private test cases are there. What is being checked actually. So there is a difference, and that makes it harder for us to, publicly open even the number of private test cases.
okay. So instead, can we get like a I don't know, maybe a checklist or evaluation criteria? What on what basis is the assignment being checked? So like before submission, we can just make sure like we have fulfilled all the conditions, and yeah.
To make sure you fulfill all the conditions, you have to stick very thoroughly with the problem statement. Okay, every statement, I mean, this is just week 3, but in week 4 and 5 we will give you certain code that needs to be added into your code, and that code has to be added as it is.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, going through problem statement, see, problem statement is not just to tell you what needs to be done. It is a guideline, a documentation that has to be followed word by word. Okay, if you stick to do that, you don't need anything from our side.
Okay. Also, the lab assignment for week 4 is not up yet. Um, I
Lab
mean,
assignment for week 4 is not appeared.
yeah, like it's showing lab assignment, but in lab assignments only the last lab assignment is week 3 only.
Okay, so that is the submission link, right? You will
Yeah.
be able to see the lab assignment in the week 4 tab.
Yeah. So I'm seeing the lab assignment, but where to submit it?
It will be opening. Yeah, it will open in a day or two.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so is that it? So I think I see the learners dropping by. So I mean dropping off. So I think that should do for today.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. All right, then we'll close the session here. If there's anything, you reach out to me through Discourse, and I try to answer each one of you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine then. All right. All right. We'll close the session here. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining on this short notice. We'll try to, regularize this in a better way. Okay, fine. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. I'll close this now.